I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, even if he dies, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Brothers and sisters, today we heard this very beautiful gospel. We are reminded that for God, nothing is impossible. So the invitation for us is always to live in hope. Live in hope. Today, first I will invite you to see a hopeless life. Second, a hopeful life. Third, a fulfilled hope. So in life, we know that there are situations when we feel so hopeless. People say there is light at the end of the tunnel. But there are times when we feel or we are not able to see light. We simply feel so hopeless in so many situations because of so many reasons. Because of sickness. Some people are experiencing fatal sickness. Because of difficulty in business. Because of difficulty in family life. Our life oftentimes is filled with fear, with anxiety. Even more difficult when we feel so guilty about the situation now. When we are sick because of natural cause, then it's so easy to ask God, Lord, why do you give me this sickness? But what about experiencing sickness due to our sin? Not only we feel hopeless about the physical situation, we also feel so guilty and ashamed about our situation and so many things. When in the family there is difficult situation happens, we could still blame, oh, this is because of my wife. Oh, this is because of my husband. Oh, this is because of my parents. It's easier to accept. It's already very difficult not to have a solution. But it's even more difficult when we blame ourselves. This situation is caused by no other than myself. That's why some people in their death is having difficulty not only to deal with the physical pain, with the physical situation, but also with the guilt. I have seen some people who are really struggling when they are dying because they feel so guilty about life. That's why be careful with whatever you do. The pain of discipline is bearable. The pain of guilt is unbearable. But in short, there are so many people who live in hopelessness. We are reminded always that while we still live, there is always hope. And the other way around is also true. Whenever we have hope, we are still living. Unfortunately, so many people are still breathing and yet living without hope. Today we are reminded that for God, nothing is impossible. It's so beautiful to listen to the word of Martha. This time, the hero is Martha. We remember when Martha and Mary received Jesus, Jesus praised Mary. But this time, it's Martha doing the talk. And what did he say? He said something very beautiful. He said, Lord, listen to this, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. It's true, definitely. But she did not stop there. she said this, "But even now, I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you." Whatever you ask of God, God will give you. This is a very hopeful statement. This is a statement based on deep trust in Jesus. Martha was a good friend too of Jesus, and she was able to say this. So we are reminded, indeed, for God nothing is impossible. We need to live life with the virtue of hope. Remember that hope is a theological virtue. What are other theological virtues? Faith and love. So there are three theological virtues: faith, hope, and love. What's the meaning of theological virtue? A theological virtue is a good habit given by God. We cannot have faith just because I want to have faith. We cannot have hope just because I want to have hope. No. This is not based on what we want. This is based on God's gift. It is a gift from God. Why? Because we cannot do effort in order to have hope. Remember that hope is not just an empty wish. This is not just the same with wishing. I wish this and that. No. Hope is much deeper than that. Hope is a desire for good thing. Difficult but possible. Why possible? Because for God, nothing is impossible. But in the eyes of men, a lot of things seem impossible. How could I be cured? I'm already in a terminal stage of cancer. How could I be cured? How could my family be united again? My husband is already living with another lady. How could the company be in operation again? The bank already got all the assets. So in life, so many things for us seem impossible. But again, for God, nothing is impossible. A lot of things become possible, not because of our strength, not because of our ability, but because of God. So always live with the virtue of hope by asking God, Lord, help me to have this virtue of hope. Next question, then what can we do? Are we helpless about this virtue? No. Saint Thomas Aquinas said that our hope or our expectation of good things increases when we have good friend. I have a very good friend, and my friend is very powerful. My friend cares for me. My friend is willing to help me. So now, even in a very difficult situation, you know that you are not alone, and your chance of getting what you want increases, right? Very good to have a lot of friends. That's why we always need to cultivate friends. They help us. They suffer when we suffer. They are happy when we are happy. And the good news is, we are God's friends. We are Jesus' friends. Jesus said in John 15:14, "You are my friends, if you do what I command you." So, if you want Jesus to become your friend and grant this gift of hope, you need to do God's commandment. And that's exactly what Martha, Lazarus, and his friends did. Jesus told the people there, "Oh, throw away the stone." They could object to that. In fact, Martha did. But Jesus, there is already stench, because they believe that after 3 days, the Jews believe that after 3 days, the soul will depart the body and the decay starts. That's why there is already stench on the 4th day. But nevertheless, they did what Jesus said. Then Jesus said, Lazarus, come out. Lazarus did. He did obey. And Jesus said, untie. And the people untie Lazarus. In short, they obey Lazarus. They obey Jesus. So the invitation for us, when things are difficult, don't just look for your own way. Yes, you have to try your best, but more than that, you have always to remember that you are not fighting life alone. You are with Jesus. So when I was preparing this, I remember this very beautiful saint. She has a very beautiful life. She's a black woman. She was born in Sudan. Her name is Bakita, Josephine Bakita. She was born in 1869 and died when she was 78 years old. Yeah, Bakita gives a very good example of a hopeful life. When she was still a child, she had a very good childhood with very beautiful family. But when she was 7 years old, she was kidnapped by Arab traders. So she was sold as a slave. Imagine, from a beautiful childhood, she was sold as a slave. And since then, she had a terrible, unimaginable life. She was treated as an animal. She had very bad masters. She was tortured. By the way, her life is already filmed. You could check on the film. Bakita, Josephine Bakita, very beautiful. So it is said that the masters she had tried to put marks on her. So they created wounds, hundreds of wounds all over the body, and put salt on the wounds so it will leave marks. So one time when she was undressed, you could really see the whole body filled with wounds. Imagine that, what kind of life she had. So she had this very deep trauma to the point of forgetting her name. She forgot her name. So Bakita is a given name. It's not her original name. She suffered a lot. She moved from one master to another. Every time she moved from one master to another, she was hoping she could have a better master. But that did not happen. Only after so many years, finally, she had an Italian master and a Catholic, and he and the family treated her well. So she was so happy. And one time when the master had to leave Africa to move to Italy, she begged, "Master, please bring me to your country." Then she was brought to Italy. She stayed with the sisters, the Canossian sisters. I learned about this story from the Canossian sisters. Yeah, they are amazing sisters. Then there she learned about Jesus. She learned about love. She was filled with hope. And she's always giving hope to a lot of people. And this is the thing that I want to underline. One day she was asked, "Bakita, if ever you will meet those who kidnapped you, those who traded you, those who sold you as a slave, those who tortured you, those who left marks on your body, what will you do?" What do you think was her answer? "I will kneel in front of them, and I will kiss their hands, and I will thank them, because if not because of them, I will not know Jesus." and I will not have this happy life as a sister. Imagine a person with such pain could have such a beautiful joy, grateful heart, and she never lose hope, even in difficult situation. So that also encourages us in difficult situation, never lose hope. When you are still alive, you can still be hopeful. And when we hope, we are always living. Because for God, nothing is impossible. Amen.